So I'm going to talk a little bit about, nurses and mental health struggles. A lot of times, we might be going through situations, but we don't talk about it. And so it is left unnoticed. If you're new here, I'm Stacey and I'm a nurse. And I just want to say thank you so much. Go ahead and follow me here on TikTok as well as on YouTube at ThinkNursing. One word, where I share long form content as well as short form content regarding nursing, travel, and lifestyle. So when it comes on to mental health struggles, so one thing that we need to start doing is learning to normalize the conversation. A lot of times, nurses or healthcare workers are going through situations, but because we don't really talk about it that much, it is left unnoticed. But remember, we're dealing with high stress situations. A lot of times we are, so we are more at risk for burnout. A lot of times we have compassion fatigue that we're dealing with, and there is also an issue when it comes on to our shift. There's a stress that is related to the different shifts that we're working. So yes, we are at risk for mental health problems because of that. The other thing is that we need to learn to recognize the signs of mental health struggles from early. When it comes on to chronic fatigue, when it comes on to you feeling just tired after sleeping or after resting, irritability, calling out sick, things like those. So what you need to start doing is keep a log, keep a stress log, and make sure that you're writing down things that are triggering how you're feeling. And then from there, we're able to identify and, assist appropriately when it comes on to mental health struggles. The other thing is when it comes on to our little breaks, make sure you're taking a little break. They might be micro, minute, tiny, yes, but they're very important because during that time, even if it is a 5 minutes break, you can go outside and do your big yawning. You can go outside and do your stretches. You can go outside and run. You understand? Go to the bathroom and pretty up. Put on a little makeup, drink some water, eat some food, things like that. During those times, you can get your mind reset, you can go out and, just say some positive things to help you throughout the day during those 5 minutes or 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or even 1 hour break for some of us. So definitely find the time to take those little breaks. They might be small, but it's very important because during that time, you're doing a lot of things without even you realizing the importance of what you're doing during that 5 minutes or 10 minutes break. When it comes on to emotional boundaries, we need to start working on that because a lot of patients we know that when they come to hospital, they have so much things going on. There's so much things going on, and we sit down and we absorb all of their concerns like sponge. Yeah, man, we absorb all of their concerns like sponge, and then us as individuals who don't really have that, emotional stability, what we do is we absorb it and then we take all of that pain with us after we leave work, and we carry it home and keep that burden on our head and in our heart and start stressing out as a nurse at home. No, we need to learn to start leaving some of those problems at work. It sounds hard, but definitely we need to start setting emotional boundaries, and so leave all of the pain and the trauma at work. Do not bring home all the patient's pain that you are experiencing with them at work, or you're seeing at work with them. Do not. Another thing is when it comes down to you taking the time off, you understand? Remember, it's okay to take your time off. Do not take the time off and say, okay, yes, you're going to do overtime at another location. No, money sweet, but remember, your health is more important. Emotional health, mental health is very, very important. You need that time away from work to recuperate and get your body reset. All right, so remember, set your emotional boundaries because they're very important, physically, emotionally, and mentally. When it comes on to you building support system, I know a lot of times here in the state, it seems like it's very hard when it comes on to socialization and getting friends. For some strange reason, it seems like it's one of the hardest things, but you definitely need some support system. Find somebody at work that you can talk to. A lot of institutions do have, mental health services that they offer to their hospital or healthcare workers for, I think, free, or it comes as a part of, your health insurance packages that they offer. But always go ahead and find a way to talk with somebody. You might be a nurse, you might be a psychiatrist, you might be a psychologist. You are listening to persons concerns or their pain, their anger, their frustration, you understand, on a daily basis. You yourself as a nurse, the psychiatrist, the psychologist, social worker, whatever professional you are working along with these persons, you need a way to decompress. Try to find at least one person that you can always go to and decompress, because we don't want it to be a case where a patient situation is causing you emotional or mental distress while you're doing your job. All right. Comes on to rest. Yes, a lot of times we don't rest, A lot of times we don't rest. And we need to start prioritizing rest. Rest and joy is something that is very important. Finding those times to enjoy things in life. All right. Work is not enjoyment. Going to work 7 days a week is not a form of enjoyment, and you're not getting any rest. You understand? So definitely find the time, prioritize your rest, and taking those vacations, those mini vacations, use up those pay time off, the PTO that you're earning bi-weekly or monthly, use them up. You understand? Don't take your rest day and go catch up on chores. Don't take a rest day and say, okay, then I'm going to pick up another extra shift at another facility. No, that is not what it is for. Find the time to, sit down and focus on things that is important for you. Find the time to do walking, jogging, going to the gym, window shopping, whatever it is. Find the time to do something outside of work and doing chores. Start doing that. All right. Another thing is that when it comes down to professional help, yes, a lot of times we tend to not want to get professional help, and that is because we feel as though we are tough, and we feel as though we are nurses, we're healthcare workers, doctors, psychiatrists, things like that. And we feel as though we don't need the help because we are providing the help, we're providing the service. But remember, even though we're very, very tough, and we pretend as if we're tough, no. All right. Up here, so we need it because too often we hear about persons going through situations, and when do we hear about it? When them dead. You see a video circulating, or you hear about text messages that they've been having with persons, and now we're critiquing those text messages and say, oh, if we were reading between the lines, we would have known that this person was going through a situation. All right, so I know a lot of times we might think that the professional help that we get, the diagnosis that is being attached to you saying to a person, oh, I'm stressed, I'm feeling depressed, it is attached to your name for life. It's better to have something attached to your name for life than to lose your life over something that you could have disclosed with someone else and get the necessary help. I know it's a tough conversation that we are going to be having, but it is a conversation that we need to start getting comfortable with doing. All right, so everybody in healthcare, whether you're a specialist, whether you are LPN, you are a support staff, a nurse, a tech, everybody deal with stress on a daily basis. Everybody is heading to burnout. You understand? Because of everything that we're dealing with on a daily basis. And even if you're not in the healthcare sector, it is something that eventually happens to a lot of persons out there. You understand? But at the end of the day, it's how you deal with it. So remember, prioritize your health, prioritize your mental, your emotional health, and don't let it be a case where you're struggling with something and not addressing it appropriately or in time to prevent the recklessness of our behavior sometimes, all right, or the detrimental effects of our behavior or death. All right, so until then, thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that if you have any concerns, you can always go ahead and leave it in the comment box below and tell me, are you struggling with anything right now? Because me know that me I struggle with sleep. You understand? Even when I sleep, I feel as though I'm not rested.